After my nemesis lost his memory, he clung to me, insisting I'm his wife. A bright idea hit me. How about you give me that land in the east of the city? He snuggled his head against my arm. Sure, what's mine is my wife's. I went in for the kill. How about that pink diamond you snagged at the auction last time? It was supposed to be my wife's anyway. I felt satisfied. After I got back everything I lost to him before, I planned to slip away. Then I heard him on the phone with his assistant. Hurry and grab that project from the last bidding. My wife is about to leave. Vincent had a car accident while I was trying to poach his staff. Billy, I've always admired your talent and skills. I'll up your current salary by 50%. Come work with me, and you'll have better growth opportunities. If I couldn't beat Vincent, I'd take away the talent around him. Seeing Billy sitting upright, I continued my charm offensive. Whatever requirements you have, just let me know. We can work it out, right? The man took a sip of his coffee on the table, responding respectfully. Linda, stop testing. I won't betray Vincent. I was puzzled. Did he save your life or something, making you so loyal? He answered earnestly, with unwavering eyes. Yes. I was speechless. Just when I wanted to learn more, my mom, who was traveling, called. Hey, Mom. Aren't you out having fun with Dad? How do you have time to call me? Ever since Dad handed over the company to me, he's been flying around the globe with Mom, making up for lost time in their youth, leaving me to run the company like a donkey. Sweetie, Vincent had a car accident. You should go check on him. What? Vincent had a car accident? Why would that concern me at all? Though my words sounded dismissive, my heart strangely tightened. If you listened closely, my voice even had a hint of panic. What are you saying? We're good neighbors. That kid grew up motherless, and your uncle isn't great at taking care of people. Mom started her usual rant. You always say those two things, Mom. Linda, stop fooling around. Go when you're told. My usually gentle mom suddenly turned cranky. Before I could respond, she hung up the phone in a fit of temper. She didn't even tell me which hospital. How am I supposed to go? When Billy heard Vincent had an accident, he was more anxious than I was. He got up quickly, talking on the phone to gather details. Seeing this, I hurried after him. By the time we got to the hospital, Vincent was already awake. His head was wrapped in bandages. Wife. His eyes lit up the moment he saw me, previously dull and lifeless. Hearing this, goosebumps instantly rose all over me. Why are you calling me that? Stop grossing me out. After I snapped at him, he looked pitiful, pouting like a child. What happened to him? Why does he seem taken over after a car accident? Are you the patient's family? Where were you? Not a soul showed up for ages. If you came any later, the patient would have recovered already. The doctor eyed me with what felt like disdain. Just as I wanted to retort, Billy stepped up to inquire about Vincent's condition. No big issues, but he did suffer a head injury causing temporary memory loss. At this moment, Vincent held onto my arm, rubbing against it like a child. Wife. Vincent lost his memory and thinks I'm his wife? What a dramatic twist. I originally wanted to shake off his hand and revel in some schadenfreude. But then I had a bright idea. If I'm your wife, then how about giving me that land in the east? I was mostly joking, not really hoping for anything. Vincent guarded against me like a thief, never giving me an opening. Unexpectedly, he smiled and snuggled me. All right, what's mine is my wife's. He's so easy to manipulate. After so many years of being overshadowed by Vincent, it's about time I took a jab while he's lost his memory. I went in for the kill. How about giving me that pink diamond from the last auction too? It was supposed to be my wife's anyway. I felt satisfied. As I silently snickered, Billy cleared his throat beside me. Vincent, that land is crucial for the company. Please reconsider. I shot Billy a side eye. Why is he always a roadblock in my conquest over Vincent? Wife, who is he? I patted Vincent's head like he was a well-behaved puppy. Lifting my head high, I looked at Billy with a haughty expression, as if showing off to him. No one important. Billy wanted to speak but held back finally. Miss, the boss's father is on a business trip. Could you take care of Vincent for now? I need to get back to the company. After saying this, he gave Vincent a complex look. I squinted at him, his gaze was suspicious. I called out to him as he turned to leave. He turned back, looking puzzled at me. Billy, could you draft the transfer contract for that land? He looked to Vincent for confirmation. Vincent wasn't in the state for such matters, just snuggling against me continuously. What are you looking at me for? Listen to my wife. Do as she says. I could see Billy clenching his jaw slightly. Finally, through gritted teeth, sure, I'll handle it now. Never did I imagine the cold and relentless Vincent would be such a wife loyalist. Wife, I don't like the hospital smell. Can we go home? Huh? Go home? Then he'd find out I'm not really his wife. I let out a silly laugh. Ha ha ha, no can do, you just had an accident. Best to stay and be observed, really. He looked at me with big, puppy-like eyes, like a child. No, I want to go home. Didn't the doctor say I'm fine? I don't feel any pain, I could run a couple of laps outside. I was all sweaty and in the end, I couldn't refuse him anymore, so I decided to go home. We grew up as neighbors, super familiar with each other. I used to play at his house all the time. When his dad was busy, Vincent would hang out at my place. We've always been neighbors. Before, now, and probably in the future. After graduation, I moved out and started living on my own. I thought moving out would help me avoid the guy who's always rubbing me the wrong way. On the second day after moving, I was all chill, stretching on my balcony. Then bam, there he was, on the balcony next door in some fancy silk pajamas, holding a cup of coffee all posh-like. What are you doing here? I asked. He didn't seem surprised, just sipped his coffee. What a coincidence, we're neighbors again. I gave him a squinty-eyed, skeptical look. Vincent, you're like a persistent ghost. Coincidence? More like you planned this. He just smiled while I was getting all worked up. I grabbed this place when it first went on sale. If I'm not mistaken, you only just bought yours. Should I be suspicious of you making a move on me? That stumped me. Furious, I grabbed a watering can and sprayed him. I'd sooner mess with a hobo on the street than harbor any thoughts about you, so get over yourself. Linda. Seeing him all drenched and miserable was pretty satisfying. I ignored his shout and went back inside. And so, we kept bickering as usual, over business and whatnot. Recently, out of petty revenge, I snuck into his place and watered his lucky money tree with boiling water. Didn't expect to see it nearly dead when I peeked in later. Made me feel a twinge of guilt. When Vincent got inside and looked around, he asked, "Honey, why isn't any of your stuff here?" I had already prepared an excuse. Because we argued, I moved out. He hooked my pinky with his. Sorry, my love. I won't upset you again. Please move back in. No way. If I move in, we'd have to share a bed. That's just chaos. I mean, my dad's not home lately. I gotta stay with my mom. Thankfully my brain worked fast, and Vincent, having lost his memory, wouldn't recall I'm just next door. You get some rest. I'm off to your mother-in-law's. I'll check in on you tomorrow. About to sneak off, he grabbed my hand, then I'll walk you there. I snatched my hand back fast. No way. If he found out I'm next door, I'd be so busted. He'd stick to me like glue wanting to come back. Nah, you just had an accident. Stay and rest, okay? Nighty-night. He watched with a reluctant look as I dashed out. Fine, but come over early tomorrow. I wanna be with you. Geez, why's Vincent so clingy? Promise I'll be early. Now you get some sleep. Ended the conversation there and quickly made my escape. Back home, I peeked over from the balcony. His living room lights were out, his room lights were on. I breathed a sigh of relief. No idea how to wrap all this up, but I could imagine his face turning dark as a storm cloud when he gets his memory back. Makes me chuckle. Who would have thought I'd have Vincent wrapped around my finger like this? After a splendid shower, I lounged on my bed scrolling short clips. Messages from Vincent kept popping up. Babe, I can't sleep without you. Long to hold you while snoozing. Can't you tell your mom you're staying with me? I'm injured, can't you leave me all alone? Seeing that made me shake my head. How'd he sleep solo for over 20 years but bump his head and can't handle it now? Injury my foot. Should have stayed at the hospital like I said. I kept trying to calm him down. Be good, will you? My mom's scared sleeping alone. I'll come when my dad's back. Next second, he sends a photo. Breaking the rules. Sends a shirtless pic at night. I lost the mental fight, opened the full image. He must have just showered too, droplets on those defined abs giving a whole sensual vibe. Darn, this guy's got the face and the body. As I was ogling, he sent a voice message. Babe, mosquito bit my waist. Console me? I burst out laughing. How memory loss tore down his cool, clever persona. Such feeble means, didn't need a cross mark to heal. If you're luring me with that physique, just say so. While I laughed, another pic came through. This time I didn't dare laugh, just tossed my phone away. Can he send this kind of stuff? Even pixelated, it's too much to look at. With notification chimes non-stop, I braced myself before picking up the phone again. The screen still held that image. I opened a voice message from Vincent. Needed to hear what he meant. Then, a voice call alert popped up. I accidentally accepted. Didn't expect what came next. Oh, baby. His soft pants and rustling sounds filled my ear. What the heck is he doing? Vincent, stop talking. No, stop doing whatever. But he didn't listen, only got more into it. Babe, keep calling my name. I want to hear your voice. Enough, Vincent. Did you get hit on the head or something? It seemed like he wasn't even listening, just lost in his own world. You're doing great, keep talking. I couldn't take it anymore and just hung up the phone. Today, Vincent's completely different. Gone is his usual calm, replaced by something else. Thinking about him doing such embarrassing things a few walls away makes me blush. After a while, 2 more messages came through. I couldn't bring myself to open them, so I just kept scrolling through short videos, trying to focus elsewhere. But my attention kept wandering back. Finally, I gave in and opened the messages. Listening to your voice feels so good. Thank you, babe. With a picture of his hand, veins popping, full of tension. I knew I shouldn't have opened it. Now my phone feels dirty. Vincent, you creep. Stop sending me weird stuff. I'm just fed up. He's still over there acting all pitiful. We're married, aren't we? Isn't this normal, babe? Besides, I can't hold or touch you now. I miss you. This must be Vincent getting back at me. After all these years of rivalry, now he hits me where it hurts. I tossed my phone aside, too annoyed to reply, closed my eyes, and tried to sleep. But maybe the nerves were too much, I kept tossing and turning. Eventually, some force made me turn my phone back on, and I played his earlier voice message under the covers. I have to admit, despite everything, his voice is really nice. The next morning, I went to the office early to avoid Vincent. Thought I'd escaped him, but nope. He showed up at the company. And my assistant caught him at the door. Vincent, you can't go in. Our policies no Vincents or dogs allowed. I rushed out of my office to stop her from saying more. But it was too late. Vincent's face was dark as night. I awkwardly smiled and, under everyone's surprised gazes, pulled him into my office. Once inside, I locked the door, pulled down the blinds, shutting out any nosy coworkers. Finally, I turned to him, a bit relieved. Vincent looked all sad, like a puppy, resting his head on my shoulder, wrapping his arms around my waist. "Babe, why didn't you return my messages? You're mean, cold, heartless. I get hurt and you don't even care. Who is this whining puppy? What happened to the cool Vincent?" I patted his head to soothe him. "I'm working, you know. Without work, how can I feed you? So, be good, okay?" It felt like talking to a child. Since he's lost his memory, I can say whatever I want. Honestly, it's not about the stuff he has that I want. Definitely not. Vincent paused, then snuggled into my neck. "I knew you're the best, babe." The next second, I coldly pushed him away. "So, be a good boy and go home. Don't disturb me at work, okay?" He raised a document, unbothered, and sat in my office chair. Pulling a contract from the folder. "The land transfer contract. Since you don't want me bothering at work, I'll head home. We can discuss the contract later." Seeing him pack up and get ready to leave, I quickly stopped him and made him sit back down. "Not a bother, never a bother. I'm happy you're here." For a moment, I thought I saw a little smirk on his face. But when I tried to see it again, it was gone. I must have imagined it. When I tried to take the document, he swiftly lifted it out of my reach. I gave him a puzzled look. Is he backing out? Maybe he remembers everything and is just playing with me now? But the next second, he became a cute puppy again, holding my hand like he's begging. "So, why didn't you let me into your company? And why did you compare me to a dog?" I'm at my wit's end. We've been rivals for years, always fighting. I never win against him. To avoid unnecessary tension, I stopped him from entering in the first place. Plus, who lets an enemy stroll into their territory? They were just angry words, babe. You made me mad, I just said stuff in the heat of the moment. Don't take it to heart. I explained as I grabbed the contract. But unexpectedly, he pulled me down onto his lap. The sudden loss of balance made me instinctively wrap my arms around his neck. We're just an inch apart. How can Vincent's skin be so perfect, no makeup, yet no flaws? And his features, just flawless. It reminded me of high school when almost every girl had a crush on him. Even as we argued all the time, I'd secretly blush too. While lost in thought, he suddenly moved closer, tilting my head for a kiss. At that moment, my mind went blank, like fireworks going off. Once I realized what was happening, my eyes widened wanting to push him away. He didn't like that and held me tighter, bringing me even closer. Then he deepened the unexpected kiss. When I couldn't break free, I bit his lip hard. He winced and let go. I panted as I looked at him, his lip was bleeding slightly. What's up with you? Thinking about that close moment made me awkwardly press my hand to his chest. That was my first kiss. I've had boyfriends before, but Vincent scared them off before we even held hands, let alone kissed. I think he was just annoyed he didn't have someone, so he made sure I didn't either. After that, I was done talking and focused on the game of wits with him. Vincent raised his hand and gently wiped the corner of his mouth with his thumb. He looked kind of roguish. Why'd you bite me, babe? Can't even give a little kiss now? Well, there goes the illusion. He's still him, the forgetful, love-struck guy with that nice guy act. This is the office, you know. We can't do things like this here. So does that mean somewhere else is okay, babe? Damn, he found my weakness. I didn't debate further and got up from him. I picked up the contract and skimmed through it. How about we sign the contract today since we're already here, right? I signed my name with flair and handed the document to Vincent. I gave him the look to indicate it was his turn. He took it, grinned, and signed his name. Seeing him finish, I couldn't help but feel a little triumphant inside. He voluntarily handed it over, no pressure from me at all. Okay, you head back first, I've got work to do. Mission accomplished, I was back to my stone-cold work self. He wasn't mad, just wrapped his arms around me from behind and pecked my cheek. Get home soon, babe. I'll have dinner ready, waiting. My heart sped up a bit despite myself. Damn, he's kind of breaking the rules. I nudged him with my elbow and broke free from his hug. Alright, get going, I have a meeting soon. At this point, I felt like a heartless jerk, using him and tossing him aside. Okay, bye, babe. For some reason, him being all compliant like this, instead of arguing with me, seemed pretty pleasant. I almost lost focus. He reluctantly opened the office door, only to be met by a bunch of eavesdropping coworkers. Seeing all those gossip-loving employees, I gritted my teeth. Do you all feel underworked? Get ready, we're having a meeting. As I got angry, they scattered, but not before giving Vincent's busted lip a knowing glance. For some reason, I had a feeling Vincent was in a good mood. Well, I'm off. See you, babe. The moment the door shut, I let out a sigh of relief. The world truly is crazy. Then my assistant came in. You okay? She dared to come in. If not for her saying that, I wouldn't have had to go through so much to placate a guy. I shot her a glare. She cautiously looked at me and whispered, Linda, need to freshen up before the meeting? I quickly grabbed a mirror. Slightly messy hair, a flushed face, and smudged lipstick. Vincent didn't bother to remind me? Like he's trying to broadcast what we did in the office. Unbelievable, when have I been so embarrassed at work? I cleared my throat awkwardly. Noted. You can go out now. Once she left, I sat back exasperatedly, amused at my situation, and tidied myself before heading to the meeting. That night, I still went to Vincent's place. After all, he promised dinner. Say what you will, but his cooking is phenomenal. Whenever I had his meals, I found him way more agreeable. But post-dinner, I left coldly, just like the day before. This work by day, dinner at his place routine had been going on for a few days now. In between, I even went with him to a hospital for a checkup. Honestly, I felt like I could get along with the amnesiac Vincent just fine. Then, at a gala, I spotted him all dapper and comfortably chatting with a business partner. I told him I'd be out for a dinner meeting that night. Had no idea I'd see him out and about, bandage off. He didn't seem amnesiac at all. Holding my wine glass, I headed his way, gathering my dress. 4 or 5 meters away, he seemed to notice me, and I caught a hint of panic. No idea what he said to the guy he was with, but his companion glanced at me before leaving. Babe, what brings you here? I scrutinized his demeanor, squinting suspiciously. Shouldn't I be asking you? What's your excuse for being here, skipping your recovery? Your memory doesn't seem to be acting up. At this point, I suspected he might be faking it. Without skipping a beat, he grabbed my hand, having me link arms with him. My assistant made me come, babe. He insisted I attend, can't turn it down. I'm helpless here, you know. Ah, Billy again. And what about that fellow earlier? You seem pretty chummy. Nothing to it, he approached me, pitching projects or something. Didn't pay much mind, honestly. His words sounded plausible. Fine, I'll buy it. In the past, he'd never explained things so patiently. That's when an overly decorated woman sashayed over. And, of course, she made a beeline for Vincent. Vincent, long time no see. Linda, you're here too. The shifts in her tone were jarring. I nearly rolled my eyes. The first was all polite and respectful, and the next one was dripping with disdain. Like I'm some kind of outcast. Linda, don't you have any shame? Knowing Vincent's disgusted by you, yet you're sticking around. Best leave while you're ahead. This woman, riding her family's status, always disregarded me, treating me as some rival in her head. I figured a job might humble her. Vincent was about to say something, but I beat him to it. I scooted closer, linking arms tighter. Honey, do you hear that buzzing? Someone's being quite the pest. Hearing what I called him, he froze for a moment, staring blankly at me. He knew exactly what I meant and went along with it. Yeah, honey, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? How about I take you home? That woman looked at us in disbelief. You guys. How could you? I thought Vincent was holding my waist to lead me away. Turns out, he was marking his territory. Miss, I hope you won't speak ill of my wife anymore. Otherwise, I will take action. Also, I don't know where you heard I can't stand my wife, but let me clear that up. I love her more than anything, so please don't mix things up. Hearing this, I couldn't help but look up at him. At that moment, I'll admit my heart was racing. Totally a charisma boost. But the next second, his calm demeanor disappeared. He rubbed against me like he always does. Honey, let's go home. I haven't eaten, I'm starving. Alright, still the same frail yet big man. Okay, let's go back. I'll whip up some noodles for you. No noodles, I've got something else in mind. He said it so mysteriously, I couldn't help but wonder. Vincent had driven himself, so I let the driver go. Once in the car, Vincent leaned over, and I instinctively leaned back. What are you doing? He didn't answer, just moved closer. I closed my eyes instinctively. I expected to feel something warm, but it never came. I opened my eyes, finding him right there. Smiling, he buckled my seatbelt. What did you think I was gonna do, honey? I felt exposed and my face went hot with embarrassment. Nothing, just buckling up. I laughed awkwardly to cover my nervousness. Then, out of nowhere, Vincent leaned in, giving my lips a quick peck with added sound effects. Afterwards, he teased, since you wanted it, how could I not oblige? Even my foundation couldn't hide my blush, and I pushed him away in embarrassment. Who's asking for that? Just drive already. Vincent chuckled, and it only made me feel shyer. Once home, I thought he'd go straight to cooking since he said no to instant noodles, having his own plans. But, no. First thing he did was lift me onto the hallway shoe cabinet. Shocked, I clung to his neck. What are you doing? Weren't you hungry and going to cook? He kissed me like it was no big deal, so habitual I almost expected it. In a low voice, he said, yeah, I'm hungry, let's cook. Though I felt like he meant something else. Honey, call me your hubby again, okay? Yep, my gut feeling was right. Next second, he was nibbling on me. I quickly pushed him away once I realized things were getting weird. Stop. But he seemed to ignore it, continuing to kiss my ears and collarbone. Vincent, no. It's that time of the month. He stopped immediately, eyes still full of desire. He stared at me for a while. I thought my lie had been caught. But the next moment, he set me down gently, sighed, and said, go sit on the sofa and play on your phone while I cook. Watching him head to the kitchen, I couldn't help but chuckle. He was kinda cute. Then I shook my head, wondering what the heck I was thinking. I can't let him keep getting to me. This is just him with amnesia. Once his memory returns, he'll go back to being distant, ruthless, and constantly at odds with me. I need to stay sharp and make a move. A few more days passed, and I ended up getting quite a bit back from Vincent. Everything I'd lost to him before, reclaimed. Yet, I didn't feel all that happy. At the next checkup, the doctor said Vincent's fine now, and all the blood clots are dissipated. He might regain his memory soon. Weirdly, a selfish part of me didn't want him to remember. Amnesiac Vincent is so endearing. But I know once he remembers, he won't be. So I planned early on to skip out of the country before he gets his memory back. Let Dad run the company for a bit and come back once things calm down. I'd packed at home, bought my ticket, planning to leave after one last meal with Vincent. When I got to his place, I was surprised he wasn't around, although the lights were on. I walked to his room and found him on the phone. "Billy, get the bidding project from last time snatched. My wife's about to bolt." Not sure what was on the other end, but Vincent was frustrated. "Don't call me bro, I don't care if you call me dad. If she finds out I'm faking amnesia and I can't win her back, you'll be out on your ass." Then he hung up. By now, my face had darkened beyond recognition. Vincent turned, and our eyes met. He was visibly shaken. "Honey, when did you get here? Why didn't you call me?" I crossed my arms, looking at him. "Wow, still calling me honey, huh? Vincent, your acting is top-notch. Such a waste not being in Hollywood." I tried to leave, but he pulled me into a hug from behind. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. If sorry could fix everything, what's the point of the police?" I blurted that out, finding it funny, and it ruined my angry, cool facade. So I wriggled free, wanting to keep up the banter. "Vincent, you going through all this trouble just to mess with me? Have your fun?" Dude made a whole strategy to seduce me, only to ditch me after he got his way. What a game. "I don't have anything, I just want to make our relationship less awkward, more relaxed. When I was a kid, I made you mad just to get your attention, but somehow things spiraled out of control. I never wanted to go head to head with you, maybe I just didn't express myself right." Seeing how sincere he looked, I was at a loss for words. "I'm doing this not to mess with you, but because I like you, and I've liked you for a long, long time." His sudden confession caught me off guard. "What nonsense are you talking about? Then why are you always competing with me over projects, and why did you outbid me for the pink diamond at the auction?" Vincent walked to a cabinet and brought out a box. He opened it and placed it in front of me. "I got it for you, things you like. I hope everything you want comes from me, so when you see it, you think of me. And about those projects, some aren't suitable for you. I don't want you to be so tired. I plan to finish them properly and then pass them on to you." Such a lame tactic. You're obviously smart, so why is your emotional intelligence so low? Is it that hard to just say you like me? Why use these bizarre methods? It's such an odd way to go about things. I looked at him blankly, and he seemed even more flustered. He hugged my arm and nuzzled up like he always does. He looked serious, eyes full of determination. "What's mine is my wife's. Stop being mad, okay? What a little charmer." I held back my laughter, trying to stay serious. "Who's your wife? Watch your words." Seeing I wasn't upset anymore, he boldly kissed my cheek. Was that forgiveness? It wasn't a big deal anyway, and maybe this roundabout way of mending things isn't a bad choice. Besides, we've been getting along really well lately, and it's been great for my emotional state. I pouted playfully, "We'll see how you behave." Then this guy picked me up, tossed me onto the bed, and leaned over. I looked at him in shock. "What the heck are you doing? So suddenly?" He kissed my brow and eyes. "Didn't my wife say she wanted to see how I'd perform? Gotta do my best then." I kicked him off. "What crazy things are you thinking about all day?" He leaned over again. "You, of course. You're all that's on my mind every day." I gave an exasperated smile. "Get lost."